I'll start it off with a name that just stands out. I miss him, but Mo Jabowski was one of the funniest human beings I ever met. I literally just laughed till I cried. Then I go on, because I know I'm dating myself, but I loved Gary Bell. Why? Because and so I'm leading to how do I meet you? You came over to the Cardinals, and I was in the 81. Visiting locker room.
Right.
I was in the visiting locker room in Philadelphia, and your locker room guy was Ace,
right.
and then his son was Teddy,
right.
and you had this guy Reds, and we do the spread and whatnot. So now you're in the National League. I remember you as this easygoing guy. Now you've got a few.
As I recall, I threw a pretty good fit in Philadelphia after I got beat one day.
Yes. Oh, wait. And who were some of the funniest guys you ever hung around with in the game?
Joe Charbonneau was funny. He was out there.
He was crazy.
Gorman Thomas.
Yeah,
was very funny.
That's great.
Charbonneau, was that made up by the media?
No,
you know, all those crazy things.
I've seen him do it.
Really?
With his eye socket, yeah.
He'd take the
beer bottle.
Beer bottle.
And twist the cap off with his eye.
Yeah. And he'd eat a glass. I saw him eat a glass.
Yeah.
After we got out of baseball, he played out.
That's pretty good. And Gorman, what kind? Because Gorman's a big guy.
Yeah.
Meaning, is it he practical jokes? It's something he'd say.
We had maybe the rudest team with each other. And I mean, Gorman looks like somebody put out a fire on your face with a golf shoe.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh my God!
Stuff like that. We might have had the ugliest baseball team ever assembled.
The All-Million
Andy
team.
Etchebarren.
Oh my God, he started catcher on the All-Million team.
Yeah, he could scare.
Oh, he could
scare anybody.
In October.
That's
jeez.
Robin Yount, Gorman.
Sure.
Jim Wolford.
Oh, Wolfie's another.
He was a mulligan.
He's a mulligan.
And they knew it, and they just abused each other.
One would top the other.
Yeah, yeah.
So
one time, this is one of my all-time favorite stories. They had that bathroom out in Milwaukee in the bullpen.
Okay.
Center field, yeah.
In center field. And Bob McClure went in there, and Gorman went, and he tied a rope to the flagpole to the bathroom door so that Matt couldn't get out. And it was about 100 degrees, and he was it was concrete, and he's just boiling. So Gorman ties it to the flagpole, and all of a sudden you see the flagpole starting to go like this as he's pulling on the door, trying to get the door open. And we're all just cracking. We're dying. Everybody's standing at the wall watching that flagpole go back and forth. Jeez. But those guys just abused each other, and most of them were pretty ugly.
Yeah.
So, which was great for me, because, made me look better hanging around them.
That's too good.
Like Rudolph Vasilino.
There you go.
In high school, were you the funny guy? Or were you one of three, or we could just depend on Warden at the party?
It was me, and we had a couple other guys. One of the other starting guard on the basketball team. We sort of teamed up. We were sort of a combo.
Okay.
And things. We sort of fed off each other, but. Yeah, I got 3 whacks or 4 whacks every year in high school. Freshman to senior, didn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, that's it. Come here. To call your mother, I said, that's even worse. I'd rather have you hit me 10 times than my mom gets me.
I take it to the next stage, college. Now it's a whole new crew of people, right? And these are all new guys that you've met. If I go back and I talk to those guys from Georgia, and I bring up Warden's name, same thing?
I didn't know. I was a new kid in the South,
Okay.
a Northern Yankee coming down to the South, and that first year, and I wanted to play, I wanted to sign, and my goal was to go out and have a good year. They played JV, like we'd play Clemson's JV and Georgia Tech,
Sure.
and Emory and all those schools around there, and down in, so we only played about maybe 12, 15 games. I had a couple no-hitters, but it was like it was worse than high school, some of the JV teams. And so not as much then. And then even when I got signed, though,
I'm going steps.
now in the minor leagues, I was out of control. Yeah.
So there's the high point.
Yeah.
That's when it really starts to crest.
Larry knows, and you mentioned it, football and basketball guys, they don't get us. They don't understand it. I'll be ragging on a guy and going, don't you like him? I said, oh, no, he expects it.
Absolutely.
But see, football guys, they don't travel.
No.
They're not together for a week.
Back then it was 12 games, 14 games.
And plus, offensive guys are here, defensive are there. They don't even see each other.
Sure.
Then they get to the city on a
meetings.
Friday, they're in separate meetings. Saturday they go through the pregame. Sunday they play and they fly home after the game. So they don't hang out. They don't go to dinner together.
So the left-handedness came out in the minor leagues.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then obviously Detroit, the World Series, Kansas City, and you leave the game. I got invited to a golf tournament in Ohio, right? And that was to do this, network, and start to plant
We
seeds.
came to Cincinnati one time.
That's
Maybe it was Cleveland.
It was when Carl Erskine did the harmonica.
Yeah.
So I don't even know whose golf tournament I'm at,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But I'm at it, and then all of a sudden, right? I'm being honest. Everybody says the same thing. But my point is, I go to Ohio, and I'm like, you're mentally ill. You're absolutely off your rocker.
Yeah.
You were up there on the stage at your own gig, literally destroying the crowd, destroying these players. And I'm like, obviously, you know, because I'm into this world now, who is this guy? You had to go get a job, you had to get a career, and then all of a sudden,
The 2 years in A-ball, Gil Henley was my manager in Florida State League, in Daytona Beach. And at the midway through the season, and I'm pranking guys, lighting the shoestrings on fire. I love to get lighter fluid and put on their hats. And then when they put it on, then I light it, because it doesn't burn through the fabric, it just burns off the top. So there's a guy sitting in the dugout, he's got 2-foot flame, and everybody's laughing and going, and the guy's he's like, what's up? I said, nothing.
Nothing with me. How about you?
Fine. So Rocky Mountain, same thing. I'm chewing on tobacco, and Al Federer says, hey, give me some of that. I want to try to chew. So I got him. He put a little bit here. Then he started getting a little wad in, and he was a really hyper guy, and there's a close play at second, and he's out there arguing, and the first thing he did is drew a breath in, and that juice went down, and he comes in and said, Warden, don't you ever, I said, hey, you asked me for it, and I was in his doghouse for 2 weeks, and I still stayed in the rotation, but he didn't hardly speak to me. So then I go to the big leagues, and Kaline, and they'll say, Al, what was Warden like in '68? He goes,
yeah,
kid never said a word. He said, now we can't shut him up.
you're a rookie.
I'm a rookie, man, and I got Kaline, Eddie Matthews was on that team.
Yeah.
So there's 2 Hall of Famers. Cash was our funny guy.
Was he?
Cash and
Yes, he
Dobson
was.
were hilarious. They were just hilarious. And so then when I get drafted by the Royals,
Yeah.
I go to Kansas City. Well, guess who's there on that team? Mo
No.
Grabowski.
Oh,
He
Mo!
went to the Royals. We're sitting in the locker room in '69, the first year. Pinella's rookie of the year. Now, Pinella is a right-handed. He's off his rocker. I saw Lou Krause stuck him out 3 times in a row and have Lou on the top step going, you're not that good. You're terrible. I went, Lou, he just struck you out 3 times. I don't care. He's terrible. And one night he grounded out. He got jammed. He was mad, broke his bat. He ran past first. He ran all the way to the right field wall and stood and pounded on the wall. I'm going, holy cow! I thought I was off the rocker.
He was intense.
Now Mo, we're sitting in the locker room. There's about 6 of us. Tom Bergmeyer's a hunter. Jim Rooker's on that team. He's another. He's out there. Mo, me, and I don't know if anybody else. I know the 4 of us were in there, and 3 of us were left-handed. Rooker, Bergie, and I.
Pretty much.
So
says it all.
Mo, big hunters out there. We're going dove hunting, grouse hunting, pheasant hunting. So this guy comes in, he's selling us all shotguns. Hey, this is a beauty, and this is the first. So Mo goes, what kind of pattern does it have? He goes, I don't know. So Mo puts a shell in it. Now Joe Foy was our third baseman. Black guy, and his locker's right across. He had this little voodoo doll hanging down there in his locker. We're in the locker. Mo goes, in the locker, we're going, holy cow! Mo, I couldn't tell. He goes in the shower. Now those BBs come out of that shotgun. He went in the shower and shot it, shower in the tile. Yeah, it's got a pretty close, I'll take it. We're in there, and BBs are going bing, 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 bang, bang. Mo come out and had welts all over, you got me that. Well, that one sunk in. So there was like you said, he was hilarious. We're in Baltimore one night. He's with us, and Palmer's pitching the gym. So about the 7th inning, Mo, you could pick up the bullpen phone, and you could call anywhere. So he knew the extension to the Baltimore because he was with the Orioles. He calls the Baltimore bullpen, get Eddie Watt up. Hung up. So Watt's down there, he's talking. And Palmer and Weaver hate each other anyway.
Yeah, they do.
And Palmer's like, and here's the pitch, and then he sort of gets the ball. He looks out in the bullpen and he sees Watt getting loose, and he gets out of the inning. He's in the dugout. What?
In
Earl's face. They're like this. So Weaver's going, set him down, set him down. So he goes back out in the 8th, and they waited until he faced a batter, maybe halfway through the 2nd inning. Mo goes, get Watt back up. Palmer's hurting. Here, Watt's back up. Get ready. And finally they found out him. He was just next day. What are you doing? Then you had the bottled water.
Yeah.
You know, the body turnover. That's in the bullpens.
Yep.
Mo gets about 6, 7 goldfish. Goes over the Orioles bullpen. He puts these fish down in the water. So when they went down to start the game, there were these fish swimming around underwater.
That's funny.
But Mo was great. I mean, he was an awesome guy, and I mean, he was a great teammate, and he could pitch. I mean, he could throw hard.
So
Dobson was a couple cards.
But Dauber, we did the Kangaroo Court at the Lakeland in the fantasy camp, and the two of us together, man, I'm telling you, it was chaos.
He speaks a whole different language, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, where does the warden that leaves baseball, because I came back and you were there. It wasn't like you just appeared and all of a sudden acted crazy at that banquet. And that's when I started saying, where are you? Then I'm at the BAT banquet, I'm at the alumni banquet, I'm in New York City. Then I'm in New York City, don't get me wrong, John.
Yeah.
And then you're up there, you know, you're doing your thing. And I'm like, you know, 13 Hall of Famers and
There's me.
Here's-
One year wonder.
then, you know, and I catch up with you. We're starting to bump heads because now the first book's out. Then I'm at the Hall of Fame, right? And I don't know if you remember, but I came up to you at the OT Saga. I said, John, your picture's up at the Hall of Fame, you know? You remember when I came up to you? I'm like, dude, and then you just, so my question is, when did that start?
I think it was always in there, and then, you know, in '69 I get drafted by the Royals, and that was like my bad break in the game because I went to spring training and, you know, 22 years old, and I'm pressing, I'm thinking, Joe Gordon goes, well, whoever has a good spring, they're going to go to Kansas City. Well, if I stay with Detroit, very conservative team, don't make many changes. We just won the World Series, you know, got the pennant, got the World Series, and, you know, I can take my time, I'm going to make the club, keep your nose clean, just go out and do your job, and you're there. Well, I'm in Kansas City, and I'm like, now, in the winter, and I wish I knew, during the winter, I was at Fort Dix, New Jersey, doing my 6 months basic training and stuff. Winter, outside, you're going across the bars, and you're crawling around the mud and all this stuff, and did I pull something then, or did I strain something?
Oh, during those months.
Because I was, you know, just typical farm boy, like Dizzy Dino, I said, go out there and throw 10 pitches. I was loose, I was ready to go.
Sure.
And pitch count, I throw 200 pitches, I'm all right. When we pitch tomorrow, you know, and so get to spring training with the Royals, and of course there's 80 guys in the locker room. Everybody's trying to make a comeback. Dick Stewart was even there, the doctor's training.
Really?
Yeah, old Stu. So anyway, I pitch in at Tinker Field in Orlando. The Twins used to train over there. I go out, I start the game, and the clubby didn't pack my shoes, so Jim Cotton and I wore the same size shoes, so I wore Cotton's shoes and go out. And first inning, I just couldn't quite get loose, and they're going, hey, you all right? I said, yeah, I'm all right. And it didn't hurt. There wasn't any pain, but I just something was holding me back.
Oh, really?
So second inning, get them out, didn't give up anything. Third inning, Joe Gordon's like, I got to see that 92-mile-an-hour fastball. You know, that's why we signed you. And I'm like, okay, so I stepped it up a notch, and I came in and I let go, and Billy Jones is our trainer. And I mean, I threw one, and I just went, oh. And Billy Jones was already halfway out to the mound. He heard it, and then popped that rotator.
Your life changed overnight.
Yeah, and I mean, in 4 years, I was on the Major League roster, 69, 70, 71.
Yeah.
Get released 71, go to Milwaukee. They were the Brewers still then. They were in Evansville. Go to Evansville. Del Crandall's the manager.
Sure.
Del Crandall.
We go to Tulsa to play Tulsa. Warren Spahn's the manager. Old battery mates. Second day in town, Del Crandall's at the door. Oh, hey, Del, you not taking me lunch? It's noon. He goes, no, we made a little trade, and we're one guy over. But before you say anything, I talked to Spahn, and he needs a pitcher. So you're with the Cardinals. So I go in, pack up my Evansville bag. One night it was the Evansville Triplets. The next day I'm with the Tulsa Oilers. And so I go over there, and then I was at Tulsa for about 2 weeks, and Jack Kroll's at Little Rock. Al Raboski was down there, Tommy Heinzelman.
I remember Jack.
Jutzy, the catcher, that all came up with the Cardinals later. And he said, they're in a pennant race, and they could use another lefty. And would you mind? I said, I'll go down. I don't care. At this point, I'm on borrowed time, you know. I'm thinking, shit, I just want to finish up.
Sure.
We go down there and we end up winning the Dixie League World Series.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I roomed with Rowski for about a month. And that was I like that video of that.
Woo! I'll tell you, that's a bad room right there.
That's before he was called the Mad Hungarian.
Oh yeah, way before. But he was still mad. But so then next year I start out and then I get released and went down with the White Sox. They sent me to Mexico, and then I just said I'm done. You know, I was doing
What was the career after baseball? What type of work?
So I just said it's time to go. And so went back home. My wife had just graduated from Ohio State in '70, and she was a teacher. She was in education. She goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I like coaching. I love kids. I love the game. So why don't you go back to school and get your degree?" And I said, "Yeah, well, I already had a year."
Right.
So I went back to Ohio State, and it took me about 2.5 years because I went all year round.
Right.
And it's funny, I took a couple classes in the off season the year before because that's what I did. I better get a couple hours in, and then so I went all year round and got my degree, and I taught school. And matter of fact, I mean, you know, but you're in front of the kids, and then you know my personality and being the kids and. And we were having a garage sale one day, and my 4th grade teacher comes to the garage sale. She goes, "Oh, Johnny, what are you doing now?" I said, "I'm teaching school." I thought you were going to have a heart attack. I'm like, holy cow, you're teaching school. It's like putting the fox in the hen house.
What grade, what subject?
I was teaching high school, health phys ed, and liked it. The money was terrible, but the kids were great.
Sure.
You know, so then I got 1 year in with the school, and then they said, "Well, we got to hire a football coach that has a phys ed degree, and we really need that spot for the head football coach because that's the money sport." And so I was out. So I worked in sporting goods for a couple of years, and then a guy called me and said, "Hey, we got an AD's job open. You want to come down to Worley High School? It was a Catholic school in Columbus." And I said, "Yeah, I'll come down." I interviewed, and I ended up being the assistant baseball coach for a guy that had done a great job. And he and I became great friends, and I ended up being the head basketball coach there.
Okay.
And he was my assistant, and I was his assistant. He was the head baseball. And then when the principal come in and go, "Just put a paper over your glass door, you know, just, you know, stay in your own bailiwick," he always called it. You know, I don't even want to know what's going on in there. And but that's sort of, and then, you know, everybody says, "Warren, you got more mileage out of 1 year in the big leagues than anybody in the history of the game."
I've heard that about you.
Yeah,
Likewise.
Ever. So, I mean, I was still doing stuff and being in front of the kids, but the first year I was involved with the Cincinnati tournament was like their first or second year they even had it.
Okay.
And they had a radio personality, Bill Cunningham, was going to MC and do the stuff. Well, he doesn't show up.
Are you serious?
So
Is that how it started?
Chris Torgerson was the rep, and then Dan Foster was there. And because we had Oscar Myers, our big sponsor, and we had Cincinnati Bell and all these big, and it was a big money tournament that we had, you know, we did well. So they said, "Oh, gee, what are we going to do?" And so they go, "Warden, can you just introduce the guys?" I said, "Sure." Well, I unloaded on them, man. I had guys, and they're crying, they're dying. I got guys, Gary Bell was there, Dick Raditz.
Oh, man.
I said, "Dick, you want to lose 50 pounds? Why don't you cut your ears off?" You know, holy cow, looks like Dumbo coming down the street. You know, oh, and I'm just on everybody, and so Foster, now, at this point, I'd have been invited. This was in maybe 80. Well, we moved to Cincinnati in 81, so this is maybe 81, 82.
Okay.
I've been invited to one alumni tournament, and that's how Narragon got me in the Cleveland tournament. Because, Mike Hirschberger ran that. We played at Firestone.
Yeah.
And the year I got to go to that one, the guy from Cincinnati came up to see, the charity guy from the London Association came up to see what it was all about. And I said, "Hey, I live in Cincinnati, I'll help you out if you want." He said, "Yeah." So that's how it all happened. So Foster, after I got done knocking him dead, he goes, "What do you got next week?" I went, nothing, you know, because I was out of teaching. But I mean, and so I was in sales, and I had a pretty flexible schedule. I could move my things around. He said, "You're going to Williamsport and do the same thing up there."
Did you do Williamsport? Really?
Oh, yeah, I could have run for mayor up there.
Oh,
I went up there about 8 years in a row.
Yeah.
Well, the guy used to be the president of the league.
Yep. I was up there last year with Foster.
Hale.
Yep.
Well, he looked like the Hale that was on the Gilligan's Island. So, and he is so,
Alan Hale.
Alan, he's so stoic, the perfect, you know. And I just, he said, "How's how's Dobie Gillis doing and the boys, you know? And I said, when's the ship leaving there, Doc? You know, and they're going, oh my God, he's killing this guy runs a little league, you know, they got all these spots. Well, they're dying. And Steve Keener, you know, and Scott Rosemary, they're all dying laughing. So, I mean, we had Hector Lopez was there, and all a bunch of guys. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm over here.
One thing led to another.
Yeah, and so and then I end up in '04, I got a job on a cold pizza.